Everybody, I have been thoroughly enjoying these Q&As that we've been able to do, and as we stay connected, as I stay connected with you guys around the world, I thank you so much for staying engaged, taking the time to write out all your questions. And, it also, not only is it very gratifying for me, and I have so much fun answering your questions, but also it helps me keep my balance. It helps me keep my sanity. Again, as we are all dealing with this crisis, this global crisis that we're going through. So I thank you guys for staying engaged, and I really love, and I'm so grateful for the connection that we have. Somebody sent a question in that really caught my eye, and that was because it's a great question that is a three-part answer. And the question was, did I ever consider another career or dream of another career other than what I'm doing? The answer to that is yes. One of the careers you guys already know, two of them you don't, and for good reason. So let's start off in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee. I am 15 years old, and we were evicted off the island of Hawaii, forced to leave the island. I was sent to Nashville because that's where my old man was, and my mom was responsible for getting from Hawaii all the way to Nashville, and she was going to drive. We had one car, and she was going to drive it across country. My mom just wanted me to get to Nashville. I get to Nashville. The setup isn't what I expected or what my mom expected. I wound up getting stuck in a motel, a little shitty motel, because my old man was on the road. So 15 years old, I'm stuck in this little shitty motel, and I didn't have any money. So I would go to this store, this grocery store. I think it was like a Piggly Wiggly or something like that. And those of you in the South are familiar with that grocery store. So I was there in Piggly. So what I used to do, and again, my ass should have been in school, wasn't in school, waiting for my mom to drive. So I had about a 2-week window where I was just stuck in this little motel. 15 years old. I didn't have any money, so I used to go steal groceries, but instead of stealing healthy stuff, I'm 15 years old, I'm a teenager, I steal a bunch of sugary shit every day. And I would pick like a 7-Eleven or this Piggly Wiggly, this grocery store. And what I used to do, I used to go in with my school backpack, and I used to go in and pretend, I'm looking up and down the aisles. And then I would go to the sweets aisle, and I would start like shoving these cupcakes and ding-dongs and yoo-hoos and yum-yums or whatever that shit is. I would just stuff it in my bag. Now, when I was there, at 15, I used to just sing all the time, and I would sing music that I loved. And I grew up a huge country music fan, but to give context, traditional country music. 3 chords and the truth, that kind of thing, twin fiddle, steel guitar. So I'll never forget, I was in the aisle, and I was looking around, looking both sides. Then I start singing a song, and I start singing, it was a song called Blues Man from Hank Jr., Bocephus himself. So I said, I'm just a singer, natural born guitar ringer. Now I'm stealing shit at this time. Kind of a clinger. Sad old songs, right? And I'm stuffing things in my bag. So clearly my thievery skills were very sophisticated and very stupid because I'm drawing attention to myself. I didn't even know it. But again, I'm 15, didn't give a shit. So as I'm stealing, this woman, I'll never forget, I look up and this woman like peeks her head down the aisle and she looks like this. She's like, and she looks at me and she goes, and I look at her. I knew she didn't work there. I thought it was busted. And she said, you are not what I expected to see. And I didn't know what to say. Now keep in mind, I'm 15. I'm 6'4" already, 220 pounds. I have a mustache, like a thick porn mustache that was just ridiculous. I had a little bit of an afro, no money to get my hair cut, pimples. And she was like, wow, she goes, are you in a band? Which, wow, thank you, compliment. She must have been tone deaf. I said, no, ma'am. She said, and then she kind of like walked up a little bit, and I was like, oh man, I'm busted. She's like an undercover cop or something. And she goes, how old are you? I said, 21. Lied, of course, because I looked 51 at that time. And she goes, you're not in a band? I said, no. She goes, where are you from? I said, Hawaii. She goes, wow, I'll never forget it. She goes, that's so cool that you came all the way from Hawaii to live your dream as a singer. And I went, oh, light bulb went off in my head. And I went, oh, thank you very much. She goes, you ever spend any time down on Broad Street? And Broad Street, as everyone in Nashville knows, or country music now, like that is the place to go when you want to become a country music star. You have Tootsie's Famous Orchid Lounge, you have Ernest Tubbs Record Shop, you have all these dive bars, but just full of country music acts that go in there and play. And I said, no ma'am. She goes, you should go down there and you should play in one of the bars. And I went, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know, I'm just living my dream. She said, yeah, you go for it. I'm like, all right. Whew. Nut. Now in my mind, I keep in mind, I'm broke and I'm like, that's it. This was a sign from God. I'm going to be a country music singer. So a couple of days later, I make my way down to Broad Street and I'm in this dive bar, shithole of a bar. And before I could even ask the bartender, hey man, you know, can I get up there and sing? I mean, it would have gone horrible. Because I had no idea back then how to play a guitar or anything like that. And that's when a crackhead came in and said, hey, anybody want to buy a car? And I said, how much? And he goes, $80. And I looked out and it was one of those old body 70s Thunderbird. And I said, yeah, I'll take it. I gave him $35, only money I had. I said, I'll come back and give you the rest. He said, cool. Now I've told that crackhead story a few times, but after that, the car was probably stolen. And the next day when I dumped that car, I said to myself, man, I can't go down to Broad Street anymore. I'm going to get in trouble or get arrested. And I had already been arrested multiple times in Hawaii. So that was the end of my country music dream. Thank God, and good for everyone else, because I don't know how good, because winning a Grammy was probably not going to be in my future. So from there, we were forced to leave Nashville. It's a long story. My mom finally made it to Nashville. It's a long story. We're forced to leave Nashville and forced to go, of all places, we went up to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, We went up to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So we get up to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Now I'm 15 years old and it's August, around August or September. I'm finally in school, the school that I eventually graduated from, Freedom High School. Go Patriots. And at that time, I got in a big fight at school. I got suspended in my first 2 weeks of school, and I got suspended for 2 weeks. And I thought I was going to be in a lot of trouble and expelled from school. So at that time, Michael Spinks was the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. And my dad was a boxer before he became a pro wrestler. So at an early age, he would take me down to the mats. He'd kick the shit out of me in wrestling when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. Then he'd put me on the heavy bag. He'd let me hit the speed bag. He'd make me stand on a chair because I was so short. I'd just hit the speed bag for timing. So at 15, I thought, light bulb moment. I know what I'm going to do. I'm tired. I don't want, see, my goal was to not be broke. That was the goal. Country music singer was out. Because I got my car from a crackhead and I thought that was a bad omen, or a good sign that I had to pay attention to. So, and then I thought, well, I know what I could do. I'm going to become the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. That's what I'm going to do. I know how to throw a decent punch. I'm going to find a boxing gym. And Michael Spinks is the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. And Michael Spinks was a light heavyweight, maybe 200, 210, I think. I'm not too sure. Now, I had heard about this dude, Mike Tyson, coming out of Catskills. I heard he was a bad dude, but I never really watched his fights. So it was his big fight, Mike Tyson against Michael Spinks. We're tuning in. My old man is watching the fight. I'm watching the fight. And again, I'm watching this fight now with different color lenses on my eyes because I'm thinking, I'm going to watch this as research. Because in the ring, Michael Spinks is the man I'm going to beat one day to become heavyweight boxing champion of the world. And it also gives me a chance to see this dude, Mike Tyson, who everybody's talking about. So Mike Tyson comes out, the fight starts. It lasts all about, I think, 90 something seconds. Mike Tyson destroys Michael Spinks. So bad it literally made me go, that's a bad dude. I don't think I've ever seen anybody so fast and so dominating and so powerful. And Muhammad Ali was my hero growing up. So I had such love and reverence for boxing. And I was like, I don't know about that. You know what? I think I'm going to play football. So thank you, Mike Tyson, for changing my mind on becoming the heavyweight champion of the world, because I would have eventually had to fight Mike Tyson. That would not have gone well for me. On to football. I became so focused on making it to the NFL. And it starts in high school. I had to get a scholarship. I played 2 years of high school football, still trying to learn the game. University of Miami came knocking on my door. Dennis Erickson, the head coach at that time, they just won the national championship. They were the bad boys, the U. I was honored to wear that on my helmet. I signed at University of Miami. I worked my ass off. We played on the greatest teams of all time at the University of Miami. And I played with some great, great players. I was balling and a potential starter, and I had a whole bunch of injuries, but then something happened. We moved an offensive player to defense, and his name was Warren Sapp. And he just came in and beat me out for my position. Now, I had injuries. People like to say, oh, but you were injured. No. Sure, I was injured, but that bullshit doesn't matter. Everybody plays hurt, and you gotta play hurt. He was a better player. He beat me out. I did not get drafted to the NFL. I played in the CFL. I got a contract for the CFL for the practice squad. Calgary, Alberta, playing for the Stampeders. Great town, great city, great people, and great team. That head coach at that time, Wally Buono, became one of my mentors eventually. Bottom line is, I played up there for what we call a ham sandwich. I got cut in October, so I was up there for 3 months on the squad. We were making $200-300 Canadian a week. I was starving. 5 of us living in one apartment. And that's when I got cut from the team. That October, I got sent home, and then that's when I had $7 in my pocket. Now the $7 has become my rallying cry and my anchor of motivation, because that's what I had when I got cut, was $7. So that is my 3-part answer. At first, I was gonna be a country music singer, and I still love country music to this day, and I could still hold a tune decently, especially when I sing, especially when I drink tequila. That's when I really started singing. And then I was gonna become heavyweight boxing champion of the world. And I saw Mike Tyson fight, changed my mind. Thank you, Mike. And then I really focused for such a long time on making it to the NFL, and that never happened. So also, what I tell people these days is, me making it to the NFL, me becoming a country music singer, me becoming heavyweight boxing champion of the world, and me making it to the NFL were the best things that never happened, because they put me on a road and a trajectory that I would learn my life lessons, and I would become really intensely focused on other things, and not focused on what I failed at, but remembering that. So I always share with people, sometimes there's things in life that we work so hard at and we want to succeed at them, and it's our dream, it's our goal, and we just know it deep in our mana and our soul. But when they don't happen, sometimes those things are the best thing that never happened, because it sets us on a different path. And then all of a sudden we get a different job that we never knew we wanted. All of a sudden we meet somebody at that job. We become married, you have family, you have babies. Life has a funny way of working out, and the universe has a funny way of meeting you halfway in that way. So thank you guys for your questions. I appreciate it. This is almost 15 minutes of your life you will never get back. I will see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock, when we do our Cheat Meal Sunday. I'll bring the Terramana, you bring your Terramana, and I'm gonna bring a hell of a cheat meal. Thank you guys again. Most importantly, stay healthy and stay safe, my friends, and let's take care of one another. Love you guys, thank you. See you tomorrow.